What is up, guys? My name is Inspector McDuck, and I got a message in the game from someone who watched my skill point prioritization video, and they asked me which skills in the game are best to level up. So I wanted to make a quick video highlighting my favorites, not saying these are the best, but they're ones that I find most useful. This video will exclude red skills. That could be a separate video entirely, so if you're interested in that, just leave me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, let's get into it. So the first skill I want to talk about is Ian's purple skill, Reflection spell. And what this does is it casts Reflect on the furthest back ally on your team at the start of battle for 5 seconds, which includes Ian if he's the one in the back. The Reflect buff itself prevents damage dealt to that character and sends it back to the enemy, so it's great against enemies who perform attacks at the very start of battle, like Zeus, Mulan, or Baymax, because if your Ian is strong enough, sometimes he can take them out immediately, making the fight a whole lot easier. The next skill that I want to talk about is Drakken's white skill, Evil Laugh. Not only is this great because it silences all enemies, but it applies a massive slow, decreasing their attack and movement speeds by 90%. So this is great in nearly all situations because it can slow down high DPS enemies who do a lot of damage, and it silences control enemies, preventing them from applying debuffs to your team or buffs to their own allies. Next up is Tron's white skill, IO Barrier. This is fantastic because it not only does damage, but it applies hardy to himself and, most importantly, removes all active buffs from enemies. This is fantastic against enemies who are using Reflect because it disables it completely, and if you have Tron's Kevin Flynn disc maxed out, he starts the battle with 1000 energy, meaning he'll use this skill immediately at the start of battle, making enemy teams that have Reflect a lot easier to deal with. And I'm pretty much talking about you, Ian. Alright, next on the list is Angel's green skill, Such a Charmer. Angel's a fantastic toon to have, and you don't have to keep her leveled very high for her to be effective, but her green skill is especially useful because when she reaches 0 hit points in battle, she'll revive herself and deal a guaranteed charm against the enemy who killed her. And if you don't know, a charm is when you basically trick an enemy into fighting their own team for a short time. In this case, the charm lasts 6 seconds. So this is good in all situations, but especially against big AoE damage dealers like Vinny or Zeus, because they can turn around and wipe out their own team without you really even having to do a thing. Alright, and finally, there are so many good skills in this game, so it was hard to choose a fifth, but I decided to go with Ariel's green skill, Soothing Voice. What this does is it removes up to 4 debuffs from 2 of her allies and applies a heal over time. This is fantastic against enemy teams with control heroes who rely on silences or stuns or charms or saps and that sort of thing. And speaking of which, I know I've talked a lot about buffs and debuffs in this video, so if you want to see examples of what those are exactly, just go over here to Filter and check out the minus effects and minus stats. These are debuffs, and the plus effects and plus stats are buffs. So you can click this information icon here, and it'll give you a description of what each thing does. Alright, that's it for today. Again, this is just my opinion, 5 of my favorite ones. I could probably name 10 more, and I'm not saying these are the best, but these are my favorites. So, hope you found it useful, and let me know if there's any other types of topics you'd like to see me cover in a future video. So, with that, McDuck out. Peace.